Blizzard's repeated failures has only boosted its competition. Now, this whole D4 bad thing has got me thinking, like, okay, I've been playing since launch. I'm fairly new to Blizzard games. I just never had a PC growing up. I had all the consoles, NES up to PS2, PS3 at the time. I had friends that played WoW. You know, I tried it. I tried a demo one time, and then I think a couple years ago, right before the pandemic, I think I got to level like 37 or something. I don't know. It was pretty dead, and that was after I played Final Fantasy XIV. So going from like the graphics of 14 to WoW graphics was just like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I didn't really have anybody to play with. I think that was a problem. But look, Diablo IV, we got bamboozled. We did. It's really been, D4 bad has been helping push Path of Exile, which I know a lot of other big YouTubers have switched over from D4 and have been playing Path of Exile. I know there's already established people like Quinn, Zizarin, Aswin's played it. Like there's freaking Hogs playing it now. Like there's a ton of people that have jumped over. I'm going to show you some graphs here and whatnot. But do you guys remember the great WoW Exodus? I think it was like July 2021, just about 2 years ago, where there was just a ton of stuff going on. People were just getting tired of Blizzard and WoW and bad expansions and all that stuff, and all the allegations that was going on, sexual banter, rape jokes, pay discrimination, all that stuff was going on. So people were just like, screw Blizzard, screw WoW. Had a ton of people jump over to Final Fantasy at the time. Now, a lot of streamers left, and that was a big driving force to people moving to 14. Now, I had played 14 ever since launch. I was there for the beta. Me and my stepbrother had our PS3s, and we got in on the beta, and we've been playing ever since. Obviously, taking breaks here and there, but I've played every major expansion, and I've done a lot. I put a lot of time into that game. Not as much time as a lot of people, but I think I have like 190 days into it of playtime. But if you look at this graph here, where was it? Right here around July. Okay, Final Fantasy XIV here is in the red, and it jumped a little bit over World of Warcraft. That's when it all started happening, and then it kind of, went and pretty much matched it. And then when Endwalker came out, I think it was December 7th, Endwalker came out, we got a big jump, and World of Warcraft stayed pretty dead. But then obviously World of Warcraft overtook it again and has stayed above, which I guess because Classic WoW and Classic Hardcore I think just came out or something. But I mean, Final Fantasy had a big jump, and if you look back at some posts, 100%, 101% increase in the NA data centers, 117% increase in the Europe data centers. Now, this was over 9 months. This, obviously the game was getting more press. They were hyping up Endwalker. They do their fan fests, and they were getting awards and all kinds of stuff. So, there's some growth there, but you can't deny that. I mean, Aswin was streaming it when he started getting to Final Fantasy XIV, and wasn't he averaging like 200,000 viewers a stream? Like, it was wild. Like, he was throwing a ton of people at the game, and it got so popular that the digital version was sold out due to the spike in popularity. You couldn't play. All the servers were jammed up. They shut down new characters, and you just couldn't get in because there was just a ton of people. And I remember, I think I was playing when that happened, and the zones were flooded with people, and people were like, just, this is so much better than WoW, and these mechanics are great. And then there was people like, oh, these are so hard, these mechanics, like, this game's so much harder. And I had played since launch, and I was like, well, pretty much my first MMO that I've really sunk time into. And I mean, yeah, it has its, Final Fantasy XIV has its some really difficult fights, but I mean, overall, come on. Like, my stepbrother, I was just talking to him, and he was like, man, I can't believe it's been 10 years since I took little Arklow into freaking Sash Tasha at level 15. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know what to do. It was my first dungeon. I was an archer, and I just started running in and shooting everything, and then, like, I didn't know, like, tank, what the tank's purpose was. I was just a DPS. I was running around shooting stuff. Like, I was out in the map, and I quickly learned that that's not how you play an MMO. But regardless, yeah, I mean, obviously the numbers spiked, and you saw a good increase in the character spike. So thanks to Blizzard and all the crazy allegations that were going on and the harassment, and a lot of streamers jumping over, and it really boosted Final Fantasy XIV. And I was like, all right, well, Diablo IV was hyped up like crazy, and people couldn't wait. And if you look at the graph here, this is compared to Path of Exile. At launch, Diablo IV was killing it. Now, granted, Path of Exile is a 10-year-old game now, but as you can see, like, Diablo IV died off very fast, very, very quickly. And Season 1, Season of the Malignant, you got a little bit of a spike up, and then it has dropped. And as of right now, last week, Path of Exile is trending more than Diablo. So again, because of Blizzard's failure, and because they hype up these games and they underdeliver, and they're just banking off of people's nostalgia, it again, like the Final Fantasy XIV situation, they're boosting their competitor. Now they're boosting Path of Exile because so many big streamers and content creators are talking about how Path of Exile is just the better ARPG. And a lot of people like myself have moved over. Like, my girlfriend got me into Diablo 3 last summer. That was my first ARPG, and I played the complete game because it had already been out, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I wasn't there for all the bullshit that went on when it first launched. And then took time off from work, and we played Diablo 4, and we put a lot of time into it. Watched just the steady decline and how boring it was, and there was no end game, nothing to do. Like, now granted, like, it's better if you're a casual gamer, and Path of Exile is more for somebody that has hundreds of hours and wants something to play long term. And a lot of people, I guess, still won't get into Path of Exile because it looks so complicated. With all the big streamers and content creators really pushing Path of Exile right now, you can see that, like, Path of Exile is trending. Now, Path of Exile 2 just had some more gameplay shown off at Gamescom last week, and I'm sure that helps as well. That's bringing more eyes to it. But the fact that Blizzard, again, has pushed its players to look for something else because their game didn't deliver, again, they're just promoting other games, man. And I'm sure the competitors are laughing all the way to the bank, but it's just crazy to see this. 2 years ago, Final Fantasy XIV with WoW and 14, and now Diablo 4 is now pushing Path of Exile. It's just crazy to see, man. Blizzard is just really losing it. But I just wanted to make a video about that. I thought it was interesting. So which game do you think Blizzard is gonna help promote next? Like, which game is gonna fail next? Now, I think they've already talked about Diablo 5, which is kind of crazy because we still have a ton of seasons. I think the Diablo 3 season is about to start, and supposedly this one is getting some hype around it. The season of Blood comes out October 17th. Now, I don't know off the top of my head when Path of Exile 2 comes out, but if Diablo 4 has a bad season 2, season 3, season 4 leading up to Path of Exile 2's release, you're gonna have even more people wanting to play a better ARPG, and they're gonna jump ship even more to Path of Exile. I think Path of Exile 2 is gonna have a massive launch because of this. But I mean, outside of that, who knows? What's Blizzard gonna fuck up next? You guys know the drill. Subscribe, come back. See you on the next one.